Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're hailing from. Welcome to another episode of GitOps Guide to the Galaxy. I am Chris Short, executive producer of OpenShift TV. I am joined by the one and only GitOps extraordinaire, Christian Hernandez. Christian, how you doing today, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing good, and I'm happy with excited. This is the first official Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah, new intro this week.
New intro. Yeah, we did a test run last week. Now we actually have
it off. Yeah.
So we got the official intro bumper, which is really cool to see. I wore my rocket T-shirt because we're going to the galaxy, straight to the moon, right?
Containers are Linux.
Containers are Linux. That's right. And so yeah, and Hillary says good start. We started right on time this time. Yeah. So
yeah.
So we're improving things. Yeah, we're on top of things since we're official now.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm doing good. It's been Chris and I were talking kind of a little bit before here. It's been kind of a crazy couple weeks.
Yeah, we got a lot going on.
We got a lot going
on.
Yeah, there's KubeCon coming on. There's Summit coming on. There's the summer. I've people always ask me like, when is your busy time? And it's like, it's always summer. Because that's when all the
events,
conferences, all the events,
everybody travels.
Yep.
Time off, everything. Yeah, it's nuts.
If people want to take time off and do this, and it's just nice lull, although during the winter. But this is
I don't even know if it's a lull, man, because it's just like you gotta do all the other stuff.
Yeah,
you weren't able to do, right? Like,
you got to do your day job stuff, right?
Yeah.
So cool. So yeah, so this week we're talking about Helm, right? So Helm. So a lot of the times, I think a lot of people's default templating agent is customized, right? And so, but almost ignoring the fact that we have this whole ecosystem of Helm that existed like beforehand, right? So
right, like this was this thing.
Yeah, and especially
we didn't use it for a while because of reasons. Tiller,
Tiller, right?
And now that it doesn't have Tiller, it's like, yay,
flood, right? So
right, exactly. In comes the water.
In comes the water, right? So I think it was a good opportunity to have a show to kind of introduce Helm in talking about Helm and GitOps and how to use it with Argo. And this will be, going forward, we will have not duplicate shows, but like shows where like kind of we introduce something and then maybe another show we go a little deeper, another show go a little deeper. So this one we'll talk about Helm, and I think I kind of want to introduce Helm a little bit. I know it kind of seems. Let me share my screen.
Right. Screen share.
And this is always a fun dance I do when I don't know what screen I'm sharing. So hopefully this is fun.
Hey, looks like it worked on the first try. Oh yeah, by the way, slides are already uploaded too. Let me grab
there we
that
go.
Link.
So grab the link. I'll throw it on there, you guys. This is a very short presentation. It's I kind of want to introduce Helm only because as a Red Hatter, we actually weren't really using Helm all that much until version 3. So it's it was very big in the ecosystem. I've used Helm before in the past, like on bare Kubernetes clusters where I wanted to install some things. I don't know if you guys have seen the ones that are using, I'm pretty sure Washari here has used Helm in the past. But like you start using Helm, V2, right? And then there's Tiller. And they're like, well, you need to secure tillering. And I don't know if you've ever read that securing Tiller doc. And it's like kind of overwhelming. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to use it.
No.
The lazy person in me kind of was like, okay, you know what? Never mind. But since Helm 3 came out, they took that away, the need to have Tiller.
Yeah.
And so now Helm is the first class citizen on OpenShift, which then extends onto your GitOps workflow. So
And thank you, Helm team. Seriously, right?
Like, I
know that was an enormous amount of effort to get done.
That was a huge undertaking. So,
thank you very much to the Helm team.
The Helm team. That was it was great. And so, for those of you who don't know, Helm is kind of a package manager for Kubernetes application, right? So think of it in the same vein of like DNF,
or like
DNF,
RPM,
even like DNF. Or like apt-get or whatever, you know, Pacman, choose your package manager.
Yeah, whatever package manager you want.
Same
kind of thing.
Right. What is?
Oh wow, I'm pulling them all out.
Throwing them all. Same idea, right? So, Helm was a way to define a set of I guess manifests
Mhm.
in a predictable manner, right? In a release manner, right? So it's like, okay, I have these manifests that provide this functionality.
And there's
For
an
an
order
example.
that we need to follow, and
Yeah,
all that fun stuff.
yeah, all that fun stuff, right? And so Helm was a way to install things essentially, right? Like if I want,
Mhm.
let's take an example like MySQL, right? Like a MySQL, like an HA MySQL
Yeah, like where you have to
deployment.
have multiple steps done, and then like you got to
Yeah,
set up a replica, and then you have to do the syncing afterwards if it's like a read write kind of deal, and you already have data in place.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
So you
something
would
you need some logic, and
some
Helm is
logic built behind
some
it.
of
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
logic.
Helm does some of that, right? Like you can do a Helm install, MySQL replicas equals 3, and then off it goes, right? So
Mhm.
it's kind of you think of that vein of doing package management, and it also, I guess, by extension, is kind of like a templating agent if you really think about it, right? Because you
Yeah.
can write your own Helm chart, and you can say, well, I want to templatize my application and its deployment. People can then give it parameters, and it can deploy it in whatever fashion they want to deploy it, right? So it's kind of in a way a templating agent, right? So there's a few key pieces, right? So there's what we
Yes.
call a Helm chart, right? So it's
Which is
essentially, yeah,
the calendar driven YAML that we all love to write. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's we're all YAML engineers, right?
Right.
We have to at this point we have to put that on our
We gotta
LinkedIn.
start with YAML and work our way up. It's like YAML, right? For
Mhm.
us, it very much feels like that vein kind of thing has
Yeah,
happened.
it's like you have a chart repository, like essentially is it's everything packaged up Kubernetes YAML files essentially, um, and um, and yeah, so there's like
Yeah,
remember
I
when
remember
YAML came
that
out?
very well when YAML came out, and I
Yeah,
was told use this thing that uses YAML and read the YAML spec so you understand it. And I'm reading the
yeah.
YAML spec, and I'm like, this isn't helping me understand anything.
Yeah, yeah,
It's the very early days.
yeah, and now it's my life, right? Now it's just like I'm
Right.
just like wrist deep in it. This whole time, yeah. It's like why would you use this instead of XML? But
Yeah.
here we are.
No, here we are.
So yeah, so it's essentially the chart is the package consisting of all the related Kubernetes YAML files, and then we have a repository said exactly what it says it is, right? So you have a repository where you have a collection of charts, um, a central place where you can store and distribute your all your charts, right? And a release is a specific instance of the chart running um, on your the cluster, right? Kubernetes cluster, right? So you have the chart, right? So you use the chart from a repository to install a release. This essentially is what it is. And you have that inside of Kubernetes running, right? Um, so how does Helm work, right? Kind of this high value, right? You take the chart, which may or may not have default values defined. You can also have things like, well, you're required to submit me some values, right? So you can have some dependencies on there. But essentially, you have a chart and then you have your values, and you kind of glom that together, and it ends up being a release in
Mhm.
OpenShift, either in a namespace or multiple namespaces.
Yeah.
I think right now it's a 1-to-1, right? You have to have a Helm chart installed in a namespace, so that's pretty cool. You have really multi-tendency there. So this is essentially how all that gloms together. So, and Helm is essentially, if you ever build a Helm chart, I've actually just started building Helm charts, because, well, one, I actually needed to do something, and like an operator was too much for it, right?
Mhm.
But a Helm, it was like perfect for Helm,
Right.
essentially. So it's people always ask me, well, why would I use a Helm versus operator, versus OpenShift templates? It's like, it's not a or thing, right? It's like an and thing. Like,
Right.
you're gonna use the right tool for the right job, right?
Yeah.
So like operators, like I wasn't orchestrating anything crazy. Like I wasn't
Yeah. If you're
waiting.
not
Yeah.
doing day two stuff and adding a lot of extra functionality to it, right? Where it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
it can upgrade itself and do all these other things, which you can take a Helm chart and make an operator out of it.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
to give you an
yeah.
idea of like that like conceptual path, right? Like Helm can be part of your operator.
Exactly. Yep.
To kind of like layer up, if that makes sense, right? Like you're going outside in the cold, you should have backups and
Yeah.
redundancy
Yeah.
in
Exactly.
HA.
Yeah.
Now you need
Exactly.
an operator, but you can start with Helm to do that, which is
Yeah.
awesome.
It's exactly. So like my use case was like, you know what, like I just need to deploy a bunch of YAML and have people pass parameters to it. And I was like, why? Like an operator, although great and it would have done the job, an operator was pretty heavy. It's like taking a taking a machine gun when all you needed was like like a slingshot, right? Like it's like it'll do the job, but it's kind of heavy for it. And I'm always the right tool for the right job type of guy, right? And actually, Braided Silver Hillary here is actually I had this conversation with her on Slack, right? About like should I make it an operator? Should I make it a Helm chart? Yeah, so Bashari says OpenShift templates are deprecating, correct? Yes. So they are deprecating. They will still be a valid API because for the whole lifetime of version 4. So however long version 4 stays out, that's how long the templates will work. But we are essentially deprecating them, saying instead of an OpenShift template, use a Helm chart. And it's essentially the same thing, right? It's like essentially a way to make a template, right? And this is kind of like I'm templatizing something, so it's kind of it fits in really well. So and then you can create a values.yaml file, right? And so then instead of passing it through the command line, like instead of saying Helm install --set --set you can put that like in a YAML file, right? So you don't
a lot like Ansible vars, right? Like
yes,
here's my settings for this thing, and it'll pick it up dynamically, kind of deal. If any changes happen, and you rerun it.
Yeah. It's kind of like doing the at values.yaml, right? Whatever. In Ansible, same idea. Just pass it to YAML, and Helm will take care of that for you. So, so Helm integration with Argo CD. So it's
let's put it.
Yeah, so let's put this together, right?
Let's marry the two together. Yeah,
let's marry the two together because there's a lot of value in it, I think. So I have people have like this whole history of Helm charts, right? They have this whole there's a whole ecosystem of Helm charts that people have been using it. And then these GitOps guys, right, come say, oh yeah, I do everything with GitOps. these GitOps guys are doing everything with Kustomize, and it's like, well, there's value, and I think using both, and I think everyone now believes that, right? So there's a value of, especially if I am consuming a service, right? So I not in this show, in the next show I'll show you how like I'm kind of pulling pieces, right? When I talk about app of apps, but like if I'm deploying an application and I'm consuming a service that Helm installs, right? Like my front end app needs a database, but like I don't want to manage that database, right? Like I don't want to I don't want to store all that YAML because it's like the same YAML no matter where I'm deploying it. I'm just going to use the Helm chart, right? And so I think your applications are made of different components, and the Helm can be part of that component, right? So, so with Argo CD, you can actually just say, deploy this Helm chart with these values, right? And you can override the default chart values, right? Either separate value files or individual parameters, right? And when we're messing around here, we'll mess around with some of these parameters here. So this is managed via the UI or the CLI, right? You can do this with the Argo CD CLI or the UI, right? We'll use the UI. I actually don't use the Argo CD CLI all that much, and I'm a CLI guy. It was
right. Like I was about to say, like, aren't you the CLI guy?
yeah. So it's kind of funny because I guess that's kind of an extension of the practice of GitOps, right? It's like I'm just doing everything in Git, and it applies. Like I do. I rarely need to go down to the Argo CD CLI. Very rarely. really almost a troubleshoot. So maybe I should make it like a troubleshooting
We
stream.
need, we should make up like a how will this break in all the merry little ways.
Yeah, and like how to troubleshoot it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that's a I'm gonna put that on my list.
Good idea.
Yeah, so this ever-growing list of things to talk about. But I think that would be a good.
But a growing list is better than a shrinking list.
That's true.
Like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So there's a caveat with the values.yaml file.
Oh yeah.
So the if you have your own Helm repository, you will store your values.yaml file in that same repository, meaning that you can, in a GitOps way, in Git, you can store your Helm repository and the values.yaml file and then do that workflow. This breaks, right? When you're using a public Helm repo, because you can't store your your values.yaml file on someone else's like so.
Exactly. This is why you need to fork.
Yeah. Or there's
which kind of sucks, but yeah.
There's a few ways around this, and I'll go over it when I'm messing around here on the in the demo, or when we're hacking at it till it works. So that's like one of the caveats at the call out is that you can only store the values.yaml file in Git is if you own the Helm repo, essentially. And so, which a lot of places do, right? They have their own internal repo, so that's not a big deal. But if you are consuming external repositories, that might be a challenge to do that in a GitOps fashion. So,
or you could get crazy and submodule it somehow.
Yeah, or like you said, you can like fork it, right? Or I mean, that's
as much as I like, a fork diverges from upstream if you're able to keep up with the upstream, and that's all you're doing is just pulling from upstream and adding your values file, right? Like that's a good pattern. The second you start mucking around with stuff in that fork and you're breaking the upstream compatibility, you're gonna have problems, right?
Well, and also some people like to do gating, right? So they do a gate where like they sync from the public and
then do another.
So that's you can definitely do that. I mean, I know, Chris, you worked you were in the military, right? And like you were disconnected all the time, so so
that's putting it mildly.
And so like running a disconnected network, I mean, that makes sense, right? You're just syncing from the internet and then providing your own. So that'll work too. But there's ways around it if you're just consuming the public repo. So that's really all I had. All I had in terms of like presentation. I kind of want to just talk about Helm in general. What it is, what it does. I don't know if there's anything in the chat. I think
no, just Braided Silver said that they would love to have a debugging episode.
Debugging episode. I think that'd be good too. Yeah. And so one quick note, I do have to give a shout out to Andrew Block, right? Always, right? So he'll always.
I've got his book too. Hang on.
Yeah. So well, that's what I was saying. We need to post his book because he literally wrote the book.
He literally wrote a
book on Helm.
Where is it?
So
I got it in here somewhere.
There, I got the link.
Okay.
I'll post it here. So and Andrew Block here, he's always helping me. He'll always tweet me. He goes, I saw your show. No wonder you were asking me all those questions.
Hey, how does he have time to watch your show?
Yeah, exactly. Right? Who knows? I'll put it on the stream here. So by the way, learn Helm. Right. I put it in the chat for those.
Yeah, this is also in Safari Books if you have a subscription for O'Reilly Learning.
So I told him I was gonna give him a shout out to his book. I promised him that I was gonna buy it, so I will buy it.
I did buy it, I think.
Yeah. So
I just can't find it, which is
I need to buy Adobe's book. I need to buy Andrew's book here, so it's gonna I'm backlogged on books I need to buy. So he literally wrote the book on it. So check that out. Good stuff. I happened to have the luxury of being able to ping him on Slack. So, but most of you don't. So
Yeah.
the book would have to suffice. So I have an OpenShift cluster here. If you go to the developer view, let's skip the tour. I know how to use it. There is a section on Helm right here, and you can actually deploy things and manage them via directly from the UI, right? So first class citizen on OpenShift. So I just kind of want to point that out. Kind of something weird that happens with Argo, and I'll show you when I do it.
Can you increase your font size a little bit? Folks would probably appreciate that.
All right there. Is that good?
If you can do one more, like there you go.
Do you like that?
Yeah.
There you go. So we are on 133. That's right. So I have to remember that for next time.
Watch someone will chime in and be like, "It's too small."
Yeah,
if it is too small, let us know, please. Seriously, if you can't read it, it's important. So
yeah, exactly.
We want you to be able to read it.
So to get an Argo CD application, we are going to be using. Let me see here. Maybe get the repo URL right. So we're going to be using this repo URL. These are there we go. Red Hat Community of Practice, Helm Chart, right? So so we have a lot of stuff here. There is even the IBM guys started like putting stuff in here. So this is kind of unofficial, official, right? So these a lot of these Helm charts are written by our consultants. So it's unofficial, meaning that like you can't call Red Hat to get support, but it's official in that like Red Hatters are writing them, right?
Right.
And there's a how to submit a new chart, and they're like very strict on what gets put in, and there's like a process and stuff. So I'm about to begin this process because
it's not very strict. It's just there's governance, right? Like
yeah, exactly. Strict in that like we're not going to put anything broken on there. So,
right. Yeah, we're making sure this is curated well. Yeah.
So I'm going to how do I move this here? You guys don't see this, but I see this here. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
I don't want to accidentally click hang up.
Hang up.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, folks. It's just me now. No idea what Christian was about to do, but let's try it.
Who knows, right? I'm about to put the chart that I wrote on here. So I'll, so look for that. Unless you probably don't care about it. This group, it's a Windows container Helm chart.
Well, they might care. You don't know.
You might care. Yeah, they might care. Yeah. So I kind of have weird two worlds going on here. I'm like the Windows container guy, and most of the GitOps guy. So it's kind of like, but I mean, it's just YAML.
When you put them together, right? Yeah. Exactly. When you put them together, what does it look like? YAML. It's just you're pulling an image in from someplace else. That's pretty much it.
So here in the Argo UI, there's a section for repositories. There's a Git repository. There's a way to add Helm repository. So you can actually click here, do Helm, and we're going to call this Red Hat Developers Helm, right? And the repository URL. Cool. You have the username and password in case you have it, username and password and a TLS certificate, all that good stuff, right? And you click connect. You'll see that
it identifies it as Helm immediately.
Yeah. So it's it's not only a first class citizen on OpenShift, it's also with the with Argo CD, right, with the GitOps tool. Nice. There's a little Helm logo, Git logo. So here you can start managing your repositories here that you're connected to. So let's create a new app. All right. So we'll call this, I'm going to be using Quarkus.
Oh, fun. I love Quarkus. Fun. I'm not a Java person in any way, shape, or form, but I love Quarkus. It just blows my mind.
Well, it blows my, because coming from like the old Java world where you have, where, it can take minutes for your Java application to come up. And then
or an hour in some cases.
Or an hour, yeah. Right. Going from that to like coming up like in a snap of a finger, right? Like seeing like that Java application come up like almost instantaneously is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like Daniel O, anytime he gets out there and is demonstrating Quarkus, like the one time 2 years ago now, he was in Raleigh doing DevOps Days Raleigh. He was doing a demo of Quarkus, and literally people in the audience were like, "Whoa, wow, And like Raleigh is a big Java. Like there's a lot of Java in Raleigh. So a lot of Java people there that were very mind blown. Trust me, it is cool stuff. And I don't say that lightly.
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah,
it
exactly.
is very cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like to the point where it's like, oh, I have to show this cool Quarkus app here. We'll do default sync manual. So all this stuff, I'm gonna auto create namespace. Like all this is just normal. You know, whether you're doing Git or Helm, you're doing this here. So doing repository URL. If you click here, all of a sudden, right, you see a little check mark that says Helm. Which chart, right? So this is pretty cool. You can there's some like IBM stuff. I'm gonna use a Quarkus. And then you can choose what version. I want to use the latest. Cluster destination, that's normal, right? Namespace, let's do, let's call this demo for lack of a better name. Values files, right? So here, you can actually upload your values files, right? You can change it here, right? Like if you're, if you're a YAML person, right? Like I feel at home at YAML. Oops. You can edit the YAML directly. You can upload the values files directly here. Or you can just give it the parameters here. So this is cool. This is kind of like
that's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. So you don't have to like kind of, if you already have the values files, and just upload it. But if you don't, if you just kind of want to just deploy an application, you can actually choose it here, right? So that's
I'm curious, if you uploaded a volumes file, would it update these parameters, right? Because I could see this as being like a way better way to manage things like per app, right?
Yeah. So it would be interesting. Yeah. Well, maybe
if you have multiple versions of like a microservice running, right, but they all needed different parameters based off, some business process or
exactly.
whatever.
Yeah.
Being able to just be like, okay, this one is connected to this and it needs those parameters. Yes, it's great to put that in a file and save it somewhere, but also if you got to move it on the fly for some reason, performance, disaster, whatever.
Yeah.
You could do it here.
Yeah, it would be nice. Here, this is a source to image builder. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do, so I set this to false. Nice. Notice it says remove override. So I'm saying I'm overriding the default values, right? So I'm gonna set this to false. By default, where is it? I wish these were, there we go. They are, I was like, I wish they were in alphabetical order. Oh, actually they are.
Thing sub resource.
Exactly.
You wish the sub resources were in alphabetical order.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly that. I want the sub resource to be alphabetical, not exactly. So at least you know how I think, right?
Right.
So
now I know. Now I know.
Yeah. So it says route
deploy
TLS
route. Absolutely.
Yeah. So you do that true. Let's see here. So redirect, I want this to be allow, right? Insecure, right? So
okay,
that's like if you want to I
also want from HTTP to always HTTPS kind of thing.
Yeah, so redirect, it won't listen on 80, but if you put allow, it'll listen on both 80 and 80, right? 443, right? So here there's other termination stuff, right? And then the image, I want to use a specific image. So where is that? That is image name. Image name. There we go. So I have this. Since this is a cooking show, image name. There we go. I'm using again Andrew Block's image.
Great artist steal.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm going to I'm going to make this an NFC and sell it.
NFT.
Yeah, NFT. Sorry,
non-fungible token, which is
exactly. NFT. I want to make this an NFT. Yeah, so that's a conversation for another show. Although I would buy Andrew Block's NFT images because they're worth their weight.
I feel like it'd be too expensive for you, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
The bidding would get pretty high.
I need more like Ethereum or something. So you click you click create, and then normally you'll see a different icon here. Here it knows that it's a Helm chart, right? And then here
it's out of sync.
Right? There's nothing there. So if I click sync, it will begin the sync process. Essentially, it installs the Helm chart here. So
wow, nice, just like that,
right? And so, which is pretty cool because good news, bad news, right? So good news is that you don't really have anything on in Git that, right? Good news, bad news. So like I didn't need to apply anything on Git. Bad news, good news, right? So like
Right.
how I can install Helm charts here.
Left and right, like without
Yeah.
any obstruction. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can, and here we go. So we got the route is up. I told you Quarkus is fast. So so let's get this URL here. Let's paste it.
Oh, you forgot the Q.
I forgot the Q. Yeah. Right. So then you get,
There you go.
GitOps Helm. You can use it side by side. And so there. So I have the app up and running. So I actually, one of the things I found kind of weird. So I think, I don't know if Shubik is on chat. Maybe he's watching this later.
Maybe.
The one of the Argo CD architects. If I go here to the developer view, right, and I look at demo, right, I can see the I should be able to see the Quarkus app here. If it, come on, let's go.
I was about to say, did you irritate Firefly?
There we go. Yeah, I know. I don't know how I did that. So here it shows the actual app. But if I go to Helm, it doesn't list it here. So I don't know what I don't know what happens. Also, another thing that's kind of weird, needs to keep in mind, if you do,
I think I know why that is.
If you do a Helm here ls, it doesn't show up either. So it's kind of, so it's kind of weird. I think it has to do with, if I do an OC get secrets, Helm installs a not get secrets.
Yeah.
Helm installs a what do you call it? A
bundle.
A bundle in a secret, right? And that's how Helm keeps track of what's installed where. And so I think what's happening, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, is that it doesn't run Helm directly, right? What it does, it basically run it. I forget the name of the. Well, process, it does a Helm. I forget what it is. There's like a Helm template, and then it basically spews out the YAML, and you can pipe that to like Q apply -F, right? And so I think that's what's happening. They're basically using the Helm to render your YAML and then piping it through apply. Because if I do,
just real quick, I mean, like this past 30 seconds, like I can take this, ship it to Serena, and just be like, hey, what's
exactly,
up? You know,
hey, what's up? Yeah, exactly.
You know, so I'll definitely do that.
So like if I do OC new project, and this let's call this I don't know, foo, right, whatever, and I do OC project, make sure I'm there, and I could do a Helm install of what is it, what did I call this? Let's do this live. Helm what is it, repo list. I called this Red Hat charts, right? So I do this Helm install Red Hat charts. Wait, I need the name. Bar.
Name's
and then Red Hat charts, Quarkus. And then I guess I don't really care if it's broken or not. You need to pass it parameters, but it's like broken, right? So it doesn't matter. Now I do OC get secrets. There's a Helm release here, right? So the Helm release here, and then I do OC get secrets of demo, right, where the other Helm chart was supposedly, it doesn't have that Helm. So I think what's happening is Argo is doing a render and apply. So just kind of keep that in mind. I don't, just personally, I don't think it's a big deal. Maybe Washari has a different opinion because he's out there in the weeds, doing this stuff. Since I'm managing everything via GitOps, I don't think I care all that much. I don't know. I think I'm still kind of mulling that over, whether that's a good thing or bad thing. whether it creates a bundle. So another thing I wanted to show, let me make this bigger, is I have this in Git, right? So I have an application. This is how you would do it via an app, right? So like, if this is essentially the YAML way of doing it via the UI. So this is kind of a GitOps way of doing it, where the representation of what's in Argo is in Git via this YAML manifest, right? So like, if I want to, make this, instead of false, I want to make this true, I'll just do a PR against this, and then this will get applied to the repository, right? So in order to do this, though, you have to kind of do something called an app of apps, where I create an Argo City app that deploys an Argo City app. And that's a thing for another show, because there's a whole thing. But you would do something like that, right? So let's try that out. So let's delete this. And then let's create an app of apps, right? So where would I put this? Helm. Let's do this. Let me get clone this, right? So let's go to the UI. Let's go git GitOps examples, git pull. Up to date. Okay. Let's go to Helm. Let's create a directory. Let's call this, what do we call this? What are we doing here? Helm deploy, for lack of a better term, right? Oops. So here I want to create an application that deploys an application. I have an example of this. Hopefully I do.
Well, I would hope so.
Yeah.
You're about to do it.
Yeah, I'm about to do it. Yeah, I have. Yeah, so an application of an application. So I'm going to take this example here. I'll call this Helm app. So here, Helm app. Oops. I'll take this and change that to Helm app. Argo City's fine. Argo City's fine. And so what I'm going to do.
Yep. Okay.
And so that's in Helm deploy. No, that's Argo City app is what I want. Argo app is what I want. So Helm app. And here I want we want /Helm. All right, so it's going to go to this repository. It's going to go to Helm Argo app, and then read that manifest.
Okay.
And then that's the same for this guy. And then I think that's it.
Okay.
Argo City or Helm app. So let's go Helm. I don't think I need to make a customized file. I guess we'll see. So let me kind of explain what's going on here.
Yeah.
So the application here, this application says that I want you to go to this Git repo following this path and apply any manifests that you see there. That's essentially what an application is in Argo CD land. So I'm going to go to that repo and then go to that directory. And in that directory just so happens to have another application. So it's an application that deploys an application. And so so then when Argo City says, okay, I'm going to deploy this, and in here it's just another application that deploys that. So and so what we want to do is first we want to git add, git commit, Helm app git push, right?
The best commit messages, only the best.
Only the best. No, well, I this is why like I always get, I don't want to say, I always get scolded when I'm like committing upstream. They're like, you need to squash your commits. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, because there's like 800 commits that
Right.
says
Yeah.
that says updated. Like it's just, or like K. And it's like, oh yeah, I need to. Sorry, I need. They're like, please
typo.
Yeah. So if you see all my PRs, there's at least like the maintainer. There's always at least one person that says, can you squash your commits? I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, because updated isn't useful commit. So so this creates so let's go to GitOps examples. I'm going to go to Helm and Helm deploy Helm app, right? So so let's see what happens when I deploy this. So I want to do application name. This is Helm app default manual sync policy for sure. Why not? I mean, it's not going to repository URL, getting started, not getting started. This guy. There we go. This guy. So, and I want Helm. What is it? What are we doing?
Helm app.
Helm dash deploy. Destination and the namespace Argo CD, right? And then let's create this here. So this barfs. That's fine.
Time will tell. Yeah.
Okay, so this is an app, right? So this is an app that deploys an app. So it's an application of an application, right? And I'll explain to you why I'm doing this. When
I think the why
get
matters a lot.
Yeah. So So like first I'm doing the what, and then I'm going to do the why I'm doing this. So so once I click sync, you're going to see another little card pop up of the application. So let's do that. Synchronize, and then this is syncing.
Wait for it.
It should pop up soon.
Progressing.
Healthy. Yeah, so it's healthy. And this there we go, Quarkus app, right?
Yeah, there you go.
So Quarkus app. So then here we go. So this is now an app that deployed another app, right? So now you see the Quarkus app. If I go here and I look at the URL, make sure you get the Q this time.
Yes.
And I get my app again. And so so why am I doing this, right? So you're going to say, Christian, why are you doing this?
Why did you go through all that trouble?
Yeah, why did you create an application that deploys an application, right? So especially for Helm, since remember before I said that like there's really no way to control the vars.yaml file unless you're hosting it.
Right.
Now you have a way of
taking that upstream thing.
Yeah.
And hosting your own thing. Smashing them together.
You're now when you need to make a change, I can make a PR to this. Right.
You go to your repo to make a
So then, that's the Helm app. What I want is the Argo app. There we go. I can change this. Now this is being managed. Now this is being managed in a GitOps fashion. Now if I go here and I do this to deploy TNS enabled, if I do this to true, and I commit this.
Again, the best commit message in the world.
Yes, updated. And I click sync, right? It's going to say it's out of sync, and it's going to sync up nicely, right? There we go. And so this here should give me in theory, where is, it should give me an HTTPS. We'll see here. Helm. So it still says HTTP, but let's see if it gives me an HTTPS.
It would be under it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I would think. Let's see here. There might be something weird I have to do with Helm afterwards.
I think it already redirected you.
Yeah. There's something in Helm I have to do. I forget what, but I'll figure it out after. just like anything, I'll figure out after the show, and then I'll have to tweet it out.
Or you could be like Andrew and start doing blog posts.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about doing a blog post, kind of like a recap of what I did last week. I think, and so
question from chat from Carl Phillips 1. Are the logs friendly to read, debug from Argo? Like, what do those Argo logs look like?
Yeah, so that's well, first you need to authenticate, right? So like, for the first time ever, let's do an Argo CD.
Here we go.
Login, right? First of all, I need to Argo CD, right? So I'm starting off clean.
Yep.
Argo CD, login, SSO, and secure, and then I want this guy here. No, yeah.
Oh yeah, you need the port.
Well, and I need to remove the HTTP.
Yeah, that too. That helps.
Then it goes here, and then oh man, they're really making me struggle here. Kubernetes.
Yeah, they are. I thought you were already logged in.
Yeah, I know. What's the password?
You don't want to do that off screen.
Well, I'm going to destroy this cluster.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Kubernetes password here. And if you can memorize this, then you're
May the force be with you. Clear.
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
Well, they just hit pause and done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and this will be gone too. So now I'm authenticated. And then I'm authenticated. Yeah. So if I do an Argo CD app list,
cool.
It gives you information about this here. There's no error, so it's kind of hard to kind of just show the logs here. But
there's a deploy log or something, right?
Yeah, Argo CD help. This will give you some
Argo CD
app edit get list
history.
Yeah, there's
there's got to be a log. Where would the log?
Yeah, I was thinking there's like a maybe get.
Yeah, it's probably like get log or something like that. Get logs.
Well, first I need an app list.
Name. Yeah, you need the app name first.
And then what do we get? Get Quarkus app.
That.
And then so this will give you information why it's not syncing. Whereas if I do an OC get pods in Argo CD, you must be. Of course, I get.
Of course, you're not logged into the cluster.
Yeah, OC get pods Argo CD. I'm in a different session here. Yeah. And so here there is the application controller. There's the operator, and there's the server. So the server might have oops, not get logs. OC logs. Argo CD.
Do you maybe an easier question? Do you usually view the logs in Argo in case of an error?
Yeah. So the errors you get are usually coming from the Argo CD. So like you would do like Argo CD app
Synchronous.
get. Yeah, and like you would sync it, and then they would give you the information here on why it's not syncing. Right. I've run into the issue before where the UI doesn't display. It'll give you that there's an error, but there's, I'm like, okay, well then why though? And so then that's when you would drop down. So here,
tell me why?
Yeah, why?
Why are you doing this to me, Argo?
And so I actually had an error the other day. I wonder if I can recreate it.
I'll just misspell something. I'll give you an error, right?
Yeah, misspell something. Yeah, right. Maybe I'll do that. Let's go to
the easiest way to create an error syntax.
Yeah. So let's go to BGD. This is let's go to error, and then let me just let's go to names. Let's create this in a namespace. Right, like we'll just have error. We'll just like make it really messed up.
Yeah, make it horrible.
Yeah, like an import, like basically.
Right, wow, like you're really tearing it up.
Yeah.
Actually, that service thing might work.
The service, it'll probably work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get push. Let's do that.
All right.
Get push. Oh, I have to get pull first.
Oh, duh.
Yeah. Yeah, accept everything. Okay, now push it. There we go.
Get with abandon.
Yeah, so let's get with abandon, right?
Uh-huh.
Project, whatever, manual, repository URL. This guy, get off the example, and we want it in. Watch it work, right?
I know, right?
Right. We want
to break something in the last 10 minutes of the show, and it's not gonna break.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. So,
okay, out of sync.
Here, let's sync it. Yeah, sync failed.
So
usually,
so
sync
what does
failed.
It tell you here?
Yeah, so if I click sync failed, it'll say one or more synchronization tasks are not valid. It'll give this message here. Good. Sync failed. SVC. Yeah, serves not found. Right?
Not found. Yeah. So it's looking for a service and it's not finding it.
Yeah. So and then if you do, what is it here? Argo. Is there where does my Argo command go? Okay.
There you go.
App list. And it'll give you, out of sync, missing,
out of sync, yeah.
Right, and then you go apt-get BGD, and then it'll give you this message here.
Yeah, not found.
It'd be nice if they had like a describe or something. Would be cool.
Yeah.
But this will be here. It'll basically tell you, I made that typo. And it says, "Oh, it's out of sync." And so, on another show we can go deeper in debugging, but it's so the I guess the genesis of the question is that like how can you tell if something's like an OCP or a Kubernetes error versus an Argo CD error? You for the most part you have to see where the what the messages tell you. Right. Because there can be a disconnect, right? Like your application manifest could be fine. It may be like an error in your like Kubernetes cluster, right? Like the PVC,
not there.
It's not there or
binding,
whatever, right? Yeah.
Whatever's happening.
Yeah. So there is kind of a you have to do some kind of spelunking. So
it's distributed systems, and we're automating distributed systems through Git. So like there's a lot of moving parts there. And it's not just Argo and Kubernetes and OpenShift.
There's got to peel the onion.
Git repo, there's all the files in it. It's a full like ensemble of things.
It's an ensemble of things, yeah. And so yeah, cool. So kind of just like a basic idea, kind of recap, bring this all together is you can deploy, like if you have Helm, if you're invested in Helm, you can still have a GitOps pattern with Helm. And so in this stream we kind of just touched on it a little bit, right? In future streams I'm going to be talking about Helm. I'm going to bring about maybe using Helm GitOps patterns, right? Kind of discussing, going in a little deeper on how you would do that. Maybe I'll bring on a special guest. There's a lot of special guests I have lined up.
Yes, you do.
Very, very exciting stuff coming up. And look to be diving deeper into these, as we go, take this journey right to the galaxy, GitOps Guide to the Galaxy. We, we'll bring on guests and we'll dig deeper on these little things. So that's all I had today.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone has questions, comments here.
So Carl Phillips one says, I assume if the error is bad enough, you have to jump back and forth a bit between Argo and OCP to figure it out if it's not obvious. Yeah,
if it's not obvious. What's really cool is that you actually get the events here. Of course, it doesn't show it, right? But
Right.
you can well, a pod would have the event, right? Let's go to the event.
Yeah.
Right. You can see the Kubernetes events, right? Like OC get events. You can that comes through in Argo, right? So you can have that. You can take a look at the logs from the actual pod or whatever. So you can do probably like I would say 80% of the debugging, right? From like if you're using the Argo UI, you can see that here. The same is not true from the other way around, right? Like I can't see Argo errors from OpenShift.
Right.
I can see, OpenShift errors in Argo as you saw that I can take a look at the events and the logs here. But the same is not like the other way around. Right. At least not yet.
Not yet. Yeah. So last question from Carl Phillips. Is there any Red Hat recommendations / best practices regarding the structure of the Git repo?
So there is a lively conversation happening
about that's the best way you could have put that.
Yeah. So does Red Hat have an official one? No. There's a lot of opinions out there. We're actually still working on those. There's actually an actual living doc that all the Red Hatters, all the community of practices are working on, are hashing out. Especially essentially we're yelling at each other on Google Docs. But what it boils down to, but we all working towards one. I am a believer in he's gonna hate I say this, in what I call Gerald ops.
Okay.
Gerald is a architect in our what do you call it, in our
developer?
Our Canadian
the Canadians, yes,
the Canadians are right. He has a I don't think this, there we go. He has a blog. I should have it bookmarked, but I don't. So he has a blog, and in this blog I just typed Git GitOps standards. There we go. So he has an opinion, and I would say like 90% of it I agree with, on folder structures. I'm using this, and I'll put this in chat.
Thank you. Well, I got it if you want me to do it.
Yeah. And he essentially lays it out, and basically just he put a lot of work into this, right? And I, for like, the most part, I agree with all of it, and I'm using it to formulate my opinions in the other doc. So you can think of this as the upstream for the doc we're developing. And so, yeah. So my opinion, this is a good way, using this approach that these guys came up with. Eventually, Red Hat will have its own like official, this is our recommendation. So this is a good place to start, is what I'm saying.
Right. Like, because if I go back to Ansible, previous job, like you could do an Ansible Galaxy command and it would init a full structure for you. Argo CD doesn't have a feature like that.
No, but we do. We meaning Red Hat. We have the GitOps operator comes with the CAM tool. So that's the let's see here. What do I have? Yeah, Red Hat Developer CAM. There is what we call where's user documentation? We have a here. Let me drop this here so you guys can take a look at that. The CAM tool does have a bootstrap command, right? So we do CAM bootstrap and then whatever its parameters, and it does actually give you a directory structure similar with Ansible Galaxy, right? And this is the supported. This is like, this is the supported Red Hat way that we're telling users to do it, right? Repository here. So take a look at that. Yeah, CAM bootstrap, right? So then you do a CAM bootstrap, and it gives you the directory structure.
Cool. That's what we need. Need more of that in life. Go start that repo, folks.
Yeah. So that's some reading material for you guys to have. Start out with this. Look at the CAM bootstrap command, and it'll great starting point. So.
Yeah. So I know you can see this too. Gerald is using Customize and that guide. Maybe Red Hat will work on a Helm version as well if they are not using the same pattern. But yeah, thank you very much. And also, do you know if possible to install a custom management plugin for Argo when using the new GitOps operator?
There
Like
is
a Helm file as a layer
yeah,
above Helm.
there is a plugins mechanism. Actually, Gerald actually used that to update the version of Customize that comes with that comes with Argo, because like it trails behind a little bit, right? Like call to us. And so there is a discussion around how to support plugins, right, in terms of the GitOps operator. So